Welcome to another episode of File on a Play. I am your host, Kristy Love with Team NBS Media. And as you guys see, we have a guest, a very special guest. This is Dan from the Three Kings podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you for
Okay,
having me.
no problem. So we have a lot to talk about.
Hmm.
So I don't need to do no introduction because we already know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into another episode of I Want to Play. Welcome back. This is your host, Kristy Love with Team NBS Media. And before I get into today's episode, please make sure you guys follow Team NBS Media on all social media platforms. Also, check us out on teamnbsmedia.com. We have sports articles, we have entertainment, lifestyle, current events, anything you can think of, we have it. Please check out teamnbsmedia.com. So, let's go ahead and get into it. The Chicago Bears lose on Sunday Night Football against the Houston Texans in Texans. The final score was 19-13. The game was ugly on offense yet again. It was just bad. It's nothing really changed from last week in my opinion. It probably got worse. Caleb finished the game with 174 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. He was also 23 for 37. Um,
Man.
Dan, go ahead. What do you have to say about our new quarterback?
I mean, it's a learning curve, right? So I'm not gonna have the knee jerk reaction and be like, he sucks or whatever. It's a
Right.
lot of people that's doing that right now, of course, but I just look at it for what it is, man. This is a learning curve,
Mm-hmm.
and to begin this situation, I said that. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to live with some of the bad in order to see some of the good. And we saw some of the bad, very terrible decision making. We saw him get taken sacks, of course, trying to escape the pocket and do his little magical dances that he used to do at USC. Some of that stuff is not it's not gonna work in the NFL. You know what I mean? Um, he does have the ability to maneuver in the pocket and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
but he has to kind of taper that off a little bit. You're not Justin Fields, and the fact that Justin Fields can escape the pocket and he can run and doing things. He's much faster. Let's be,
Yes.
4.3, 4.4 speed is way faster than what he's got. So um, Justin can do some of that stuff, but this guy is more of a pocket passer. Probably do that. Some of that stuff that he was doing, that off balance stuff, we're gonna have to live with some of it because he's a gunslinger, right? And he thinks he can make all these plays. So you're gonna have to deal with it, but man, it's not pretty sometimes. And Sunday it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all.
I'm glad you brought up Justin Fields because Caleb looked a whole lot like Justin Fields the past 2 weeks, if you want to be honest.
Yeah,
Running for his life, getting
yeah,
sacked, getting gruesome hits. Like Caleb got sacked 7 times on Sunday.
yeah.
7 times. And every time he got sacked, the next time he got sacked, he got slow. He got up a lot slower than before.
Hmm.
That looked like Justin Fields because Justin Fields was getting up slow also. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of people were saying in the off season before, well, around the time we got Caleb is a lot like Justin Fields. He can use his legs, he can run, he can escape the pocket, but what is he doing?
Right.
I know a part of that is the line, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But Justin Fields, even though we had the same offensive line like last year, Justin Fields could use his legs and run, and that was dang near our whole run game the whole time we had Justin Fields because he would run and use his legs because he couldn't pass the ball. He he couldn't. The pocket would always collapse around him. Like I
Hmm.
would, I would watch the game. I would count 1, 2, 2.5. The line would collapse and he would get sacked. He didn't have time to throw the ball. So he will utilize his legs and will get all those rushing yards. So I say all that to say, Caleb,
You gotta be 100% honest with it, right?
I'm not gonna say he's not it because it's only been 2 weeks, but we really should have kept Justin Fields.
There's a lot of people that feel that way.
I promise you, if you would have had Justin Fields against the Houston Texans on Sunday, even though our offensive line is really bad, it would not have been as bad as it was this Sunday with Caleb. We should have kept Justin Fields because he already know the BS that come with our offense. You know what I'm saying? On top of Caleb Williams also had a couple of passes that were underthrown, which led into getting interceptions.
Right.
You know,
right.
Justin last year he pretty much developed his passing game, in my opinion. Like kind of midway through last year. And not to bring up Justin, but let's be honest, we're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
He would have made a lot of those passes Caleb missed. You know what I'm saying? It's not all on him because, the past 2 weeks, we had people that drop passes, but Caleb did miss to DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore got frustrated. It's a disconnect between those two. And I think he missed a few of the Roma Doomsday on Sunday too. So I said that to say,
I think everybody can see the disconnect, right? Everybody can see that. And people get tired of, the comparison between Justin and Caleb. It's always going to be there, people. Just like there was a comparison between Mitch and Justin for the longest of time. It's always going to be there because you got rid of one guy. He's only 25 years old, so he's got a long career ahead of him, possibly, if he gets things rolling in Pittsburgh the way a lot of people think that he will. Mm-hmm. So the comparison is going to be there for their whole careers, basically, to see how it turns out, right? And, it's a tough situation to be in. And Bears fans, some of them love it. Some of them love the arguing and fighting. Some people get tired of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's always going to be there. But what I will say is that if you did move on from Justin, in my opinion, because the line is so atrocious right now, right? It's so bad. I wish with that 9th pick they had went, and picked up an offensive line. You know what I mean? Talent right there. So that's my thing.
I agree, and I think I said in your spaces and your calls there too. Like, we did not need a quarterback. I feel like it was more of a want than a need because yes, Justin had his flaws, but he was good with what he was. We could have traded down and really fixed the offensive line. Because I seen something on Twitter. Shout out to Pat the designer. He said Ryan Poles played on the offensive line in the NFL. Why would he draft players that play like him? Ouch. I felt that because okay, the Bears have a history of having a bad offensive line. Like, that's been a known fact for I don't know how many years. Ryan Poles coming into the Bears, you already know that's something that need to be fixed. And the fact that I feel like it's been neglected, it kind of says a lot, in my opinion. So I don't know where we go from here as far as the offensive line to how to get better, because let's talk about it. Nate Davis is trash. Darnell probably had his first bad game since he's been in the NFL because he got drafted last year. What's his name? Coleman Shelton. He bad. It was just bad. They can't block. Like, it was one play I saw on Twitter. It looked like Darnell Wright was ice skating or dancing around. Like what do you do? Like you tapping? You playing? What you doing? They always doing that. Like, I understand the Texans has a really good defense. They're really good against the run. I get that. Y'all knew that coming in. Why isn't the coaches, our offensive coordinators, like, making plays to help us get something going. We had no cadence. We had no rhythm. We had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Look
I
at
mean,
look at week 1. Nothing.
yeah.
Nothing. So how, like, and I don't blame Bears Twitter for the past couple of days for being in an uproar as they've been, because it's like it's the same repeated cycle year after year after year after year. And the biggest issue is the offensive line. We have to get it together. We just have to. And as long as we don't, I promise to God, we're going to be losing games that we should not lose. Thank God for our defense. Our defense has been our holy grail right now.
Yeah.
It has. But who we have next? We have the Indianapolis
Indianapolis.
Colts.
Yeah.
We got the Jaguars, the Rams, the Panthers. Like, let's keep it a buck. I will not be surprised with how the offense look if we lose to the Panthers. Like, I'm sure we won't. But I'm
No.
sure we won't. But I will not be surprised by somehow if we lose. Like I'm just being real. I don't have no confidence. Like I said, thank God for our defense. Like, our defense will make us win that game. But realistically,
yeah, we better not lose to the Panthers. That's all I know. I will say this about the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
You got to look at the offensive line and you look at the pieces that they have. They don't fit properly, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you have a guy that's a finesse guy in Braxton Jones. He's nimble. He's athletic, right? He can get out and he can run. He can do some things, make blocks downfield, things like that. He's not the strongest of left tackles, right? So then you move inside and you go to left guard, and you got Tevin Jenkins there. He's a beast. He's a monster, right? He's physical.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does. He's a punisher. He's a power guy, right? He wants to physically impose his will and move people around. That's his deal. Center, I don't even want to start there. Nate Davis. Nate Davis is an enigma, man, because he's good. He's a good player, but it seems like he doesn't want to play. It seems like, hey, I'm chilling. I got paid. I'm gonna ride this contract out, and then I'm gonna leave football and be done with it. So he's like one of those guys that happen to grow big and tall and strong. And hey, I can make some money playing football, but it's not something that I love. You know what I'm saying? That's his mentality. But when he really puts his effort into it, man, he could be a really, really good right guard, a really good one. So, it's just a matter of can the guys get draw that out of him, you might say, and pull it out of him? Can you somehow get him motivated? I don't think that's possible because we haven't seen it right now. And this is going on last year, now this year, and it's just a guy that's there. It's not like he's really he's just there. And then you got on the other side, the right tackle is Darnell Wright, and he's a nice young piece. I think he's flexible where he can play different styles of football.
Okay.
But what I mean by different styles is, you got what's the Bears offense? What are we offensively? What's our identity, right? That's something that I believe the Bears, the coaching staff, somebody needs to go in and say, okay, we're going to be a power run game, right? We're going to run the football, and we're going to utilize the run to set up the pass, and then we're going to eat them up through the air with the pass, right? Or do you want to go in there and say, hey, we're going to sling the ball all the way around, right? And we need our offensive linemen to all of a sudden become great pass protecting guys, right? And that's not what they do. So you see what I'm saying? It's a different style. All of those guys have different styles. You got a power guy, you got an agile or a finesse type of guy, and somebody that's not power. They're playing on the same side. So you got one guy that wants to play power, one guy that's, more finesse, more nimble, more, let's do a zone blocking scheme and things like that. You got another guy that wants to physically impose his will and push somebody down, wash somebody down the field 30 yards. That's what Tevin Jenkins likes to do. So until they find the right pieces that fit together, or at least get guys to buy in to whatever they're doing and say, hey, look, I know this is how you like to play, but this is how we want you to play. And if you play like this, we'll be successful. if you come to them like that and maybe they buy in and then those pieces fit, then maybe it starts to work out. You can fix things, you can fix it, right? But it's going to be difficult, man, because what I see from them is just it's really bad on the offensive side, in the
So
trenches.
so when you said okay, when you said you tell each player to do this to become successful,
Hmm.
that's coaching.
Yeah,
I feel like with the
Chris Morgan.
coaches we have right now, I think they're telling them that, but they're just not doing it.
Hmm.
So
That's the
it's
thing.
it's
You
it's,
gotta
it's coaching.
you gotta
It's
find a
coaching.
way to get them to buy in, man. You gotta find a way to get them to buy in.
And who you said that was Nate Davis that's there to get a check? He
Seems
needs
like it.
he needs to go. Like like like
It's too much money, man. He's
I
getting
I
paid too much.
I no I get that, but if you know you can get more money if you play well, if your team goes far in the playoffs to the Super Bowl, that should be motivating enough to get off your behind,
Mm.
play, put some forth and effort, and actually help out your team to get there. You're going to get more money, right?
But you working on a guaranteed contract right now, right? So his money's guaranteed this year. It was guaranteed last year, right? So that bonus that he has, whatever it was, 20. I mean, he counts 26 million. I think it is. I might be wrong. I don't know, but I think it's 26 million if they cut him right now. They'd owe him. You know what I'm saying? So they'd still owe him tons of money, and he'd still count against the cap and all of that type of stuff. So it's not from a business standpoint doesn't make sense to move on from him. So you gotta plug him in there, and that's the thing. It's like borrowed time, man. It's like a guy that's just sitting there, and maybe at some point they send him home and say, you know what, just don't come
Just
back, you know,
yeah,
and we'll just pay you to just sit at home. Maybe that's the case. But a lot of these guys, like I said, man, he seems to be. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know him personally, of course,
right, yeah, of
but he
course,
seems to be a guy that's like, I'm gonna do the bare minimum because I really don't care nothing about this. I'm gonna not get injured. I'm gonna work my way through it, make this money, and then I'll go on about my business. And that's what it seems like. And in the NFL, man, people have short memories.
hmm
And I'll give you this example. Robert Quinn.
hmm
Robert Quinn, and I looked at him through his whole career, man, from
hmm
LA, from when he played with St. Louis to the Cowboys to us to after he left us. In contract years, when the money's on the line, he showed up and he balled, right? And he was like, dang, this dude is a beast out there. Tons of sacks, pressures, all of that stuff. And then he gets paid and he chills out for 2 or 3 years. And then contract year comes up again. Let me ball out. Let me do what I need to do.
right.
Because he had that ability. He was that good, right? But at the same time, he's one of those guys that really don't love the game of football. It's like, whatever. I do it because I make money. You know what I mean? And I felt like that when we signed him. And
Right.
they signed him, what was it, 5 years, 75 million or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
Ryan Pace did. So, when he signed him, I was like, please don't do that. Please don't do that. He balled out with the Cowboys, yeah, but it's because he's in the contract year. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, we got bogus Robert Quinn for a couple years. He balled out one year.
He
One year he
did.
did,
He did.
right?
He did. He did.
But the rest of the time was really, really bad, man. I mean, he couldn't stop the run. It was time where he had like half a sack in a whole season or something like that. It was ridiculous. So I mean, this is what you're dealing with when you have grown men.
Mm,
You don't know their mentality, bro. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know what they're made of.
right.
Um, and that's what you're dealing with Nate Davis. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll go out there and turn it on all of a sudden, and I'll be completely wrong. But I don't see it happening.
At this point, if it's that evident for all of us to see that he's pretty much not trying to put any forth and effort into his positions, they I'm just being honest because I get the whole get a check thing, but dog, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Come on. It's like y'all was not even trying.
yeah,
So and it's that evident. It's that evident. So if that's the case, we'll say that you're right. Ryan Poles needs to go ahead and start cutting people off. Like, okay, look,
Yeah.
this is not going to work. Sign somebody.
Well,
Like,
somebody that used to do stuff like that is Jimmy Johnson. He would cut somebody, but
uh-huh.
it let everybody know. It let everybody know in the locker room, hey, I'm not, And sometimes you might cut a top notch guy. You might cut, a mid tier guy or whatever. But it's to show, hey, I mean business. I'm not playing around
Yeah,
here. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you might have to scapegoat some, maybe the 30th guy on the roster or something. You know what I mean? And point him out and say, you know what, pack up, get out. And anybody that plays like that is about to get out with him. You know what I mean?
Send a
And
message.
maybe that sends
Absolutely.
a message to the locker room. Maybe that sends a
It,
message
it
that,
that's
hey,
yes.
they watching everybody now. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So,
And Eberflus is in the hot seat too.
but
He's in
I
the
know
hot
you
seat.
didn't say Iberpuss, did you?
No.
Okay, I was about to
I
say.
said Eberflus. Eberflus. Flus. Flus.
Okay,
What do you want to call him?
okay, all right.
No. Our head coach, he's in a hot seat as well. And the Bears are known to never fire in season. But I said this earlier on my show. If it doesn't get better, he needs to go. I'm sorry. Defense is good. I give him credit for that. But instead of making nicknames for the players like you did on Hard Knocks, you need to figure out why the heck the offense is not working out. Like why is Caleb? Because Caleb is not going to make it. He's not going to make it this year. He's not. That was evident Sunday night against the Texans. Like we have to figure it out.
Yeah,
We just have to figure it out. Granted, Caleb got his flaws. Justin had his flaws. Mitch had his flaws. But the issue is the offensive line and
yeah.
coaching. I don't understand how our offensive coordinators still give us Luke Getzey vibes. And Luke is gone in Vegas.
Mhm.
I don't know, but his play calling is still shaky. Screen
Yeah.
plays, run, screen plays. Like what are you doing?
It's a lot of people that's on his back. I'm gonna reserve judgment on him a little bit.
I was on the
A
sideline.
little
He
bit.
was shaking. He was shaking.
Yeah, he was
He was
shaking.
nervous.
Everybody seen. Yeah. Everybody seen the paper. He's shaking while
Yes,
he trying to
because
call in
he
the plays. It's
knows.
like, yeah, are you scared? Like, what's going on? I don't know what that was about, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe he needed some potassium or something that day. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
but
could, eat a banana or something on the sideline. But I mean, I don't know what that's about. But hey, you know, I'm a reserve judgment for him because it's only been 2 games, so I'm gonna allow him a little bit of leeway, a little bit of hey, establish what you want to do with this offense, and then let's hit stride.
right.
To me, it says to me that this team was not completely ready, right, with the preseason, training camp, all of that type of stuff. Maybe more guys should have got some playing time in preseason. Maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
preseason we looked good. But
Yeah.
Grant, like
At
I said
times.
last week, we didn't know who was starting against our opponents. So that does play a part. But our offensive line was looking okay. Caleb looked okay.
Yeah,
So
Caleb looked
like so
comfortable. He didn't look comfortable.
exactly.
He didn't look relaxed like he normally does. And I tweeted about it in preseason games. I was like, I knew he was good. I knew he can make throws and things like that. But
Mhm.
it seemed like he was at home on the football field, right?
Right.
In the preseason. Now you turn her into the regular season, and it's like, oh, now we get here, and it's like a whole different story. But on Hard Knocks, who was that was talking to him? I think it was Keenan Allen and somebody else. And they was like, oh, you don't get nervous, huh? You don't get
Oh,
nervous?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
he
was like,
says
nah, I don't get nervous. I never get
mm-hmm.
nervous, blah, blah, blah. You know?
Week 1 we saw it.
And I don't know, bro. I think so when it comes to the NFL, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah, you got them
Everybody
300
gets a little
pound
bit nervous. So
defensive end, all them coming at you, man. Yes, you get
all of that
nervous.
sounds good. It sounds good, bro.
Yeah,
But
man.
come on, man.
So I mean, I can give Shane some leeway a little bit, but even still, we need to see some sort of progression. Have
Yeah.
you seen any progression from week 1 to week 2 with coaching? No,
No.
we haven't. So week 3, we're playing the Colts, a beatable game. I think one of their defensive backs is out. I think I saw that on Twitter. I can't think of his name. We should win that game. If we lose week 3, what now?
What you gonna do? Everybody gonna burn it down?
It's burning down now. I tweeted. I made a tweet Sunday before the game started. If we lose against the Texans, do we panic? Everybody said no, no, no. I promise to God, we're still panicking today, and it's middle of the week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're
You know,
still
Bears
panicking.
fans though. Bears fans are gonna panic regardless. I mean,
Exactly.
you
So if
know.
we lose week 3 against the Colts, we're going to be in Indiana. By the way, we're not going to be at home.
Hmm.
Um, I had really high expectations for the Bears. It's still very early, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's the Bears. I had us winning at least 10 games. I had us coming out of the division. I had us going to, it was bold, but I had us going to the NFC Championship game.
Wow.
I said it was bold, but look at the hype we had in the offseason. Look at the talent we have on paper. Look at the players that we signed. Look at how they played last year. Bring
Yeah.
that one to a generational quarterback like in Caleb Williams. Yes. Yes. I guess that's saying Super Bowl, but let's be honest. With the talent we have, why can't that be doable? The NFC is completely open. Like who can take it? Who? Like right
Right.
now,
Right.
who you think can take it? So
I mean, it is open. It's definitely open. There's ways that the Bears could get into the playoffs and make noise. I'm a fall way short of NFC Championship game though.
yeah, like I said, that was bold, but
Yeah, that's very bold. Like
but it could
that's a bet.
happen.
You might need to drop a bet on that. Maybe you know what I mean. You be
I
the only
mean,
person that wins.
I
You
would
probably
have
rack up a lot
before.
of money on that. You know what I mean.
I would have before the season started, but now nope. But we could be a wild card team, I guess. Like we a wild card sneak in maybe.
I mean,
But
my thing is the Bears won 7 games last year. That was 7 and 10 or whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they
it
lost 3
was.
games that they should have won.
Yeah,
If you win 2 of those, let's say you win just 2,
right.
you win just 2 games. Oh, my camera stopped there. Can you hear me?
I can still hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So if you win just 2 of those games, so be it, right? You're looking at a season where you're 9-8, and then everybody told me that you know Caleb was much better than Justin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, maybe he gets us over the hump in 1 or 2 more games. So I
Mm-hmm.
was looking at it like, okay, let's get 10 wins this season. I think they should be good for 10 wins. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's early. It's just, last year the Bears also got off to a rough start too. Um, and then we kind of turned it around mid-season thanks to our defense, of course. After we got Montez Sweat, the Bears went ahead and uh defensively became a top 10, in my opinion, a top 10 defense. And then of course Justin he got hurt last year out for like 5 weeks, came back. He was like playing really well. One of those games that we lost, we should have won, was against Detroit and against the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion. So I say that to say, another year, slow start. I hope we turn it around. We really need to, because we really cannot afford to have another bad season. Because in the off season, Ryan Poles built a win now team. Like a lot of our players are like up there in age. We signed a few players to 1-year contracts, 2-year contracts. So if we don't do good this season, I feel like the players we signed, I think maybe Keenan Allen's one of the players, can be going elsewhere after this year. And then we're going to be stuck and have to go into a rebuild mode, depending on who stays and who goes. So we really cannot afford to have a bad season at all. We need to win. We need to win. I will accept being the second team in our division. I feel like the NFC North right now is completely wide open. Granted, Minnesota is undefeated, surprisingly, but as the season go on, we'll see. But we just have to get it together. Like,
There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, man. It's a whole lot that goes into what they have going on, and you hope that it works out. But I mean, it's just no telling how this team is going right now. Um, you know, talk about Eberflus, man. Like the whole situation with him making ridiculous, challenges and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
It's
those
a
two
trickle
challenges
down
that
effect, man. Like things like that from your head coach. You understand why you have so many penalties about false starts and holding
yes,
penalties and things
yeah,
that you mess up on because you have a situation where the coach is making these mistakes,
yeah,
you know. And instead of owning it, that's one thing that I took exception to when he had his press conference. Instead of just owning it and saying, you know what,
mm-hmm.
I made some bogus challenges today. That was wrong for me to do it. I shouldn't have did it. Instead, he's like, we got a proper thing in place. Blah blah blah. We do this the right way. Blah. And it's like, dude, like everybody in Stevie Wonder could see that those was not, they was not challengeable. You shouldn't have been challenging them for real.
Well, I thought
Like
one
seriously.
one of those challenges, I think it was the pick. Who got that? Was it Kyler Man or Jaquan Brisker? I
Um,
can't remember who it was. It was one of them. He got a pick, but he fell to the ground, and the ball did hit the ground. I thought he had control of it, and it was a pick. And Flus had challenged that, and it wasn't a pick.
okay, okay.
It was. I thought it was. It looked like it was, but it wasn't. So I mean, I hear you. They gotta do better with challenges. I agree. And then we also got to do better with penalties. We had a lot of penalties in that game on Sunday against the Texans. A lot of false starts. We got to get better with that. Limit the penalties because that can also be a game changer. They can also be momentum killers,
Yeah.
So we have to minimize that. But I do want to talk about the positives about the Bears, and that is our defense. Our defense looks amazing. Our defense, I've been saying this for a long time. Our defense is a top 10 defense. I have our defense becoming a top 5 once this season ends, as long as we keep this up. What are your thoughts on our defense so far?
The defense has been amazing, man. That's one thing that I will give Eberflus credit for. I give credit where credit is due. I do
Absolutely.
also point out the negative things, right? That's associated with somebody. So, you look at Eberflus and this defense, it's been outstanding. I mean, to go in there, that's a high powered offense. They got the likes of they got a heck of a receiving core. Tank Dell and Nico Collins and
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. You got Joe Mixon. You got Cam Akers backing him up. You got Dalton Schultz at tight end. So they have tons of weapons on the football field. That's a high powered offense. And sure, they got some yardage, right? They got some yardage, but they pretty much kept them in check. They kept that team under 20 points.
Yep.
It was 16-10 for the longest time during the game, and they really stuck in there, even though the offense was so pathetic. They were in that game strictly because of the defense,
Mhm.
And then in the first week, the defense basically won the game, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to give them credit, man. And it's like, how long does a defense like to go out there and play and perform
Yeah.
at that level when your offense is not backing you up at all? Just score some points, man. That's all you got to do. We won the first game. We hold this team down and you can't put points on the board. If the Bears were able to manufacture some points on the offensive side of the ball,
Mhm.
it would make that defense even better because now a team has to go out there knowing that, hey, we can't play ball control. We can't waste the clock. We can't flip the field on this team all the time. We got to go out there and move the ball because and put numbers up because their offense can, right? So
Right.
whenever the Bears get that offense together, the defense will be even better because then they can tee off. Then you got guys like Montez Sweat. They can send the blitzers and they can do all these packages. They can take chances that they normally don't take and try to create more turnovers than they normally would because you're at an advantage because hey, guys know that they need to score against you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get out there and you make them pay like that or make it difficult for them, then you can really get some more turnovers and you can
Absolutely.
put guys in bad positions and you know what I mean, fumbles and interceptions and all these things become factors at that point.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on a point you said um with the defense being on the field and the offense not backing them up. So that's another thing that could hurt us in the long run with our offense being bad. They're going to get tired. They're going to be gassed. They're not going to have a lot of energy, not going to play at a high level, like you said. That's another reason why our offense has to get it together because our defense can only do so much. They're going to try, they're going to give their all, but they're tired. Realistically, they're tired.
Yeah,
They're going
yeah,
to be gassed out. We keep getting three and outs, three and outs, three and outs, three and outs, and our defense don't have time to rest to play at that high level throughout the whole game. So it's I just thank God that we have a good defense right now. I just because I feel like that was part of the problem. I think it was week 1. Our defense did look tired too, but they still played at a high level. So I say that to say, I just I'm gonna keep saying that. Thank God for our defense. I just do. I really
yeah,
do. Um, that's the only thing that we honestly have to look out for is our defense.
yeah.
Um, they're bailing us. Like, what more can I say? They're really doing their job. So,
Which is good. It's good to see somebody doing their job, right? Out
yeah,
there.
it's
You
yeah,
know. So
yeah,
I mean, I think it's good, man. And at the end of the day, like I said, if that defense or if the offense can pick it up a little bit, the Bears are
well,
going to be a really, really tough team to play against.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. So, uh, week 3, win or lose
I'm gonna say win. It's the Colts. I
on the
don't. I
road.
don't believe in the Colts. I
You
don't
don't
believe
believe
in
in
the
the
Colts.
Colts?
No.
What?
Well, number one, DeForest Buckner is going to be out of the game. That's their big time defensive tackle, right?
Yes.
So maybe they can get some running game going up the middle. You know what I mean? With him out of the game, he also can pressure the quarterback and things like that. He's a stud up there, right? So maybe he's going to the IR. I think he's going to miss like 4 weeks with an injury.
Yes. Yep.
So I'm not saying I don't wish injuries on nobody, of course, but
It's a
at the
blessing
same
in
time, hey,
disguise.
when you got the opportunity to go up against a team without his stud at defensive tackle, then I'm good with it. So it's an
Yeah.
opportunity for the Bears to maybe get some traction in the running game because it's been so
Yes.
bad,
Yes.
recently. So
Yeah.
if they can get some traction there, get some play action going, then maybe they can do some things. Anthony Richardson is still a young quarterback. He's still learning. He does present some problems. He can throw the ball. They got some good wide receivers in Michael Pittman and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
Alec Pierce and all of those guys. But at the same time, I trust our defense right now. How they've been playing, I trust that
Absolutely.
they can go in there and they can do some damage. It's just a matter of if the Bears can get that offense rolling. If they can, I think this turns into a game that the Bears can easily win.
I want to touch on something really quickly. The
Sure.
running game. Our run game has been non-existent. A lot of
Yeah.
Bears fans I've seen online, they're starting to also question, which I kind of don't understand why they are, but they're questioning DeAndre Swift. And I said this before. Our run game is only as good as our offensive line. If our offensive line is not good, they can't create holes for him to go through. How is he gonna run with the ball? Granted, he's a dual quarterback. I'm sorry, a dual running back in my opinion. He can catch the ball too, but again, our offensive line can't protect, so he can't throw. And then Caleb, he's not throwing accurately. He's overthrowing, underthrowing, and trying to play hero ball and all that extra stuff. So you know, I really hope our run game can start in week 3.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see more of Swift. I do want to see Roshan out there, and Khalil too. So
Mhm.
whoever is out there, I want to see them and get something going. Like I just want to see something going offensively, because you said earlier about identity between our passing and our run.
Yeah.
We don't have one right now, but I
We don't
feel
have one.
like the past couple of years, it's been our running game because we had David Montgomery for a couple of years before he left, and
Mm-hmm.
he was good up until his last year. So, you know, get them.
Even last year, I don't think we had a 100-yard rusher. I mean, 1,000-yard rusher. I think we had Justin
No,
Fields, of course,
yeah.
so he
Besides
added
him,
to it.
yeah,
But even last year, we were a running team, a team that you could kind of
yeah,
hang your hat on that, right? Right
yes,
now,
that
we're
was
going into
solid.
games and we don't know what is the offense? What are they? You know what I mean? Are they going to go out here and put up numbers through the air? Are they going to go out here and they're going to beat you up on the ground? We don't know. The opponents,
Exactly.
the opponents, of course, are laughing because it's like y'all don't do anything well, so we don't have to really take nothing away from you. That's the point of a
Hmm.
defense, right? A defense
Right,
is designed that, hey, we're going to take away what you like to do best, and we're going to make you do what you don't want to do. That's
right,
what the goal of every defense is, to put
right.
people in uncomfortable situations, right? Things that they don't like to do. And right now, the Bears, what do they like to do? We don't know. Nobody knows, right? Because it's really nothing. They don't do anything well right now.
Hmm.
So this is a game where, hey, the defensive tackle is out. Let's take advantage of that if we can, right? Let's play physical. Let's beat them up on the ground, and maybe we can establish that ground game, get some play action, and throw it up over top, and utilize your tight ends for God's sake, man.
Yes,
Please,
yes. Get Cole
please,
Komet going. Like
please.
he needs to get going because he signed last year that I think 4 years, $50 million contract.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not. It's. I mean, is it him though? I mean,
No,
because he
at this
produced
point,
last
it's
year.
shame because I don't know why he's not utilizing his tight ends. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I don't know.
They were saying that I think I got word, somebody said something about, well, Cole Kmet was a little bit upset because Gerald Everett was taking some of his reps, and maybe this, that, and the third.
There we
Maybe
go.
he's about to lose his spot, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, if Gerald Everett is taking his spot, how come he only had 2 catches for 7 yards then? You know what I mean? So it's like even with Gerald Everett in there, he still didn't. Cole Kmet had 4 for 27 yards or whatever it is. It's not good. Either way you slice it, it ain't good.
It's
So
not good. Yeah.
you know,
So yes, please, he need to get his tight ends involved. Like just offensively, just get it going. Like play football. Like everybody on the team knows football.
yeah,
You know your route, you know your position, your job, all of that. Coaching, you know what to do. Like we had so much faith in Shane when we got him in the off season. And it's like I'm thinking to myself, is the Haskies have something to do with this? Like what's going on? Because there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way.
there's no way.
There's no way. There's no way. So we'll see. Week 3, I don't know win or lose. I don't know.
You got to pick one.
I do. I'm trying to pick one. You know what? I'm a Bears fan, but I want to be realistic.
Mm.
I,
Says the
I
person that chose them to go to the
hey.
NFC
That
Championship
was
game.
before the season started. I'm gonna say we're gonna win. We're
All
gonna
right.
probably steal one on the road. We have to. There's no other option. We have to win. So I have us winning. That could be a start of a winning streak for us because the next couple of games are very winnable.
Yeah.
And if we lose any of them going forward, we have a serious problem. I'm just being honest. Because our toughest games outside of the Texans are not until after the bye week. And after the bye week, we play, I think, if it's not the Commanders, it's the Cardinals. So like, but I will say the Cardinals have been playing really good football the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So depending on where they're at, it maybe could be a toss up. But as of right
Well,
now,
after the bye week, because you got the bye week is
yeah,
the
the bye week,
Jaguar after the Jaguars. So you got
that's that Monday
Washington.
game, right? Yep.
Yeah, you got Washington after that, and then you got
Yep.
the Cardinals
The
after them. So
Cardinals.
yeah.
And then we got what? The Packers,
No, the Patriots, then the
the
Packers.
Patriots. We see Commanders, the Cardinals, the Patriots after the bye week. Like, stop the Bears, stop playing with us. Stop playing. Stop playing. Okay. So if we can win all of them games, we have to beat Green Bay.
The Bears can. I think the Bears can win the Colts and against the Rams and against the Panthers.
Yeah, the Rams right now they're winless.
And if they mess around, if the Bears mess around and they get 1, 2, 3
wins,
that's
a confident booster for sure.
Yeah, it's a confident booster.
We need it.
Winning cures all.
It does.
That's what it does.
Okay, well, that concludes another episode of Foul and Play. Thank you so much for joining with me, Dan.
For sure, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It was a fun joy.
Hopefully, you can come back next week and talk about this win.
I can do it. Let's do it. For sure.
All right, so please let the followers know where they can follow you.
At Danikin _DG3, of course, on Twitter. I'm with the Three Kings of the Midway, so that's at 3 Kings _Midway. It's a podcast that we do, so we talk about the Bears as well. Myself, Devori, and Roy out there, Ill Will. So, you know what I mean? We always there, man. We host the spaces, during the game and post game. We had a nice one going. We had about 700 people in there last week. That was pretty cool. And we get, it gets live in there, man. So we have a good time.
It gets live.
Have a good time. Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully, during the season, I can get all 3 of you guys on my show.
Yeah,
is that possible? You think they would do it?
For sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Check out their podcast. It's really dope. It's authentic. They're themselves. It's a really dope podcast. Their spaces is amazing. A lot of back and forth. It's very entertaining, to say the least.
Appreciate you.
But you guys can follow me. I am Kristy Love on Twitter and on Instagram. I am Kristy Love. You can follow me on TikTok at Kristy Love Sports. And make sure you guys follow Team NBS Media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then check out teamnbsmedia.com and check out all of our articles, our YouTube shows, our podcasts. We also have entertainment, lifestyle, current events, the whole nine. So please check us out. And next week, we are going to talk about this game against the Colts. Mm-hmm. I have us winning. Dan have us winning. So if they don't win,
we might be drunk by then.
I'm going to tee up for sure. But thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys next week. Bye.